Hi, good morning. Welcome again. This is our term 3 message to parents, anyone interested in the workings of the Priory Learning Trust. My name is Neville Coles. I'm the Executive Principal of the Trust. So again, Happy New Year from me and to everyone. Just a couple of minutes this morning to say again, Happy New Year, and introduce this gentleman to my right, who is a very important part of the Priory Learning Trust central staffing team. As you know, we have now 4,942 students within the Trust. 24% of those students are in receipt of pupil premium funding, and we have 25 children who are looked after, so very conscious of our responsibilities in terms of educating all our students, but particularly, of course, those students who are in care and are students in receipt of pupil premium funding. Just so some numbers to start the new year. 6 schools within the Trust, potentially going to be a 7th in the new year in 2020, because the Huntsbills, East and West Huntsbills, have decided they'd like to join the Priory Learning Trust, so we're potentially welcoming them to our Trust in 2020. So Mr Neville, who's the head of that particular federation, in fact, in our Highbridge hub, welcome to those guys in 2020. Normally in January I mention admissions, so thank you again for your support of the admissions process to join our schools in 2020. We run a whole series of open evenings and open mornings and breakfast mornings, so thank you to staff for doing that in the autumn term. Can't say too much about North Somerset applications, but you will know if you've got a place at PCSA or WCSA on March the 1st. So just look out for March the 1st. In Somerset though, 213, which is fantastic. 213 New Year 7s coming into TKASA, brilliant. Even better news, Mr Jenkins tells me this week that 100 students have applied to join the 6th form, 100. So that's magnificent at this stage of the year. So students from Western and the local region, and of course students in Highbridge and Burnham-on-Sea. The 6th form provision at King House is outstanding, really high performing 6th form, 100 students applied. And again, that's really good news for us in that area. Data, of course, we're all over data and exam results 2020. Just a very quick word, we're in terms of our Praising Stars 1 outcomes to the secondary sector, we're in a good place for fantastic outcomes in 2020 as well. Okay. Gentlemen to my right, I'd like to, remember last time, if you do follow this, I introduced you to Mrs Daniels and Mr Walker, who work for us across English and Science across the Trust. This is Mr Antoine, who I will leave to explain his role in the Trust, but it's a very important role, and Mr Antoine is our Chief Operating Officer. So that's 3 minutes from me, 2 minutes from you, sir.
Okay, thank you, Neville. As Neville said, my name is Mark Antoine. I'm the Chief Operations Officer for the Trust. I bring to the Trust some significant experience. I've got 14 years combined experience as a secondary phase school business manager. I've worked in various schools across the region, mostly within sort of Bristol and North Somerset area. Those included Brislington Enterprise College, St Catherine's School, and more recently and most latterly at World Community School Academy, where I was the business manager for 2 years, and I also combined a role of being the Deputy Chief Operations Officer for the secondary phase schools for a year before I was fortunate enough to be promoted on the retirement of the current gentleman, Mr Kersley, who did an excellent job for Priory and the Trust.
Who, by the way, is still working for us for 40 days a year to assist Mark in his role, but very experienced team of business operations.
Keeping it simple, my main responsibility is for the operational delivery across the 6 Trust schools. But that goes hand in hand with being able to deliver the strategic plan of the Trust and the trustees, and I do that in supporting Neville and all of our trustees and local academy councils as necessary to do that. I also have the financial responsibility for £25 million of public money, which we try to use as effectively as we can for the benefit of all our students across all our schools within the Trust. We've got plans going forward for next year. The Trust has grown to a size now where we are eligible for a fund called the Schools Condition Allocation, which we are currently evaluating and developing a process to using 5-year plans that the schools have submitted in terms of maintenance and delivery of resources, so that we can highlight and direct that funding where it's most needed to deliver better facilities as much as we feasibly and possibly can, again for the benefit of all our schools and all our students. Quite a strategic role combined with operational delivery, all of which is detailed in the Trust Strategic Plan, which is available on the PLT website.
That's exactly 3 minutes as well. Congratulations. Welcome to the team. Well done, well done. So we're very pleased that Mark's with us. He's been with us before, obviously, as the business manager at Well. We've got a very bright future. Financially, we're strong. We've got some plans ahead afoot to do things specifically in our schools. I won't go too much detail, but one of our great plans is to improve the sports hall at Well, for example, which has been one of our things we'd like to do for some time now, and that will be coming and being done over the next couple of months, couple of years. So not too much detail, but in us, please trust that we will make sure the facilities available to our students, those 4,942 students across all our schools, are of an outstanding nature. We really do pride ourselves on providing great facilities for our children in our communities, Western Supermare, Highbridge and Burnham-on-Sea. Thank you for listening. That's 7 minutes.